Yo, 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 yo. Yo, yo. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh, yeah, I'm way done with the old world, yeah, for sure. I didn't really get much. I just got the new releases, and then the re-releases I never bothered with. Pretty sure that tomorrow is supposed to be the final day of, like, re-releases or something. Or maybe that's supposed to be, like, the 9th. I can't remember. It is indeed one of them. Mm-mm-mm-mm. It is one of them. Where are my glasses? Oh. Yeah, I'm, pretty much done with buying retail Warhammer stuff. There's some other things, you know, potentially that I'd be looking for, but retail things, we've got them all. We do have them. Hmm. Pretty sure for a lot of people right now for Old World, they're still kind of buying a bunch of stuff. It's only going to get bigger. We got the Warriors of Chaos coming out, which is a good sign. We need more. Bring them all out. Bring everything out. Quickly. Give people a reason to care about Old World. I mean, I've seen it. I don't really miss whatever. I didn't see any dwarves. Where are the dwarves? Bring them back. Give me a reason to watch. Give me a reason. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Well, I've got them all. This is the 30th anniversary one that's coming up. Yeah. We got a bunch of them. Still trying to look for the old ones. The very, very old, ancient pre-slaughter oldies. There's usually a few lying around on eBay for not too expensive. I just figured now that I have them and I have space to put them on a shelf, why not build them? I've had these things for ages. And I just have not built them. So now is the time to build the Grombrindals. The horde of Grombies. Because there is a lot of them. No, I'm not going to be playing it for a while. I heard it was all right. Some people didn't like it. Some people loved it. It's probably like a 7 or 8 out of 10 game, right? Some people gave it a 6, but ooh. Those same people gave Outlaws a bit of a higher rating, so I don't know. It's objective. Gameplay is attuned for multiplayer more than single player. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of and the multiplayer looked alright. It kind of looked like Gears of War in a way, which I think is what everyone said. It's like if you like Gears, you like this game. I'm like, okay, I like Gears. But yeah, there's a bunch of Grombrindals. A lot of the hard ones are kind of the old ones. They're just expensive now. Thankfully, I've had these again for ages, and some of them I even got from like the subscriptions. So like, I am not paying those prices. I'm good. They want like 100 plus USD each. I'm like, ooh. It's probably what they're worth now with the rarity and all, but
Yeet.
A bit of work. Canadian, thank you, buddy. Been a bit, yes. I'm usually not on here. I'm a little busy with the main channel as of late, so like we're not streaming much Warhammer, but I figured I'd get on and do a little bit every few days, you know? Just eat away at the collection. Try and get things on shelves. Fucking, I'd like to do my army, but oh, not even done the spearhead. Too many things to do. This one's pretty good. .3D printing stuff, I know of it, I just don't really bother. It's hard for me to really like 3D prints unless they're inspired by something. I've seen quite a few 3D prints that are actually incredible looking, but I'm not really... I like my GW minis. I'm very nostalgic about them. I think they look amazing. I grew up with them. It's kind of my jam. It is my preferred miniatures. It's got to just look a certain way, right? Like, all Warhammer to be appeasing or appealing needs to just look good to the person, so... A little bit pick and choosy for 3D prints, because most of them I just don't like. It's not that they're bad, but it's just subjectively not my style. I can't sleep. Insomnia. French insomnia. Maybe I'll put it together something for the collection, but it's really just a lot of, like, the rare stuff is kind of on shelves, but it's just, like, merchandise and things. It's not... There's no, like, amassed armies like I used to have. That's kind of ideally what we're going to be doing in the next few years, is just amassing armies. Or a army, I should say. Yeah, these are just miniatures. It's just like Gundams. It's like anything. They're model kits that you kind of like make. You glue them up. You could alter them if you really wanted to, which a lot of people do. I definitely do that, but these guys, not so much. Oh. Sleep is good for your health, yes. We spend apparently a third of our lives sleeping, so, like, you know, might as well make it comfortable. Third of our lives is spent fucking sleeping. You may as well have fun. Whoa, okay, brother. Hey, you do you, man. Whatever helps you sleep at night. Whatever helps you sleep at night. This one's done. Alrighty. The 30th anniversary one's kind of a bitch. There's a lot going on. Alright. Gotrek Gurnison. Kind of a cool... This is probably, like, the best commemorative mini they've done for, like, the White Dwarf. Having Joseph Bugman and Gotrek kind of, like, holding him up. It's gotta be the best. It's, like, the most iconic for sure. I mean, it's the 30th anniversary, so it makes sense, but... Kind of reminds me of, all the other old, Grombrindals kind of made him like old league skins for Gragas. He's like kind of in every field. Bro's a space marine, bro's a tech priest, he's a pirate, he's a vampire slayer, he's a director, he's a drunk. Like, it's just cool. Or rather, that's Joseph Bugman, that's not a Grombrindal, but it's really good. I've been doing this for like 20 years, probably. A long time. 20-odd years. People have been doing it longer. That's awesome. But for me, 20-ish years. "20 long years of Warhammer. Collecting, playing, everything." Hmm. I mean, this hobby's kind of ancient, man. It's an old hobby for sure. A lot of people have been doing this for most of their life. And they've got a lot more to show for it, because all my stuff, I got nothing to show for that outside of, like, what I've held on to. Some stuff they keep, some stuff they sell, but, you know. I think some of the coolest stuff I ever parted with was, a lot of scratch-built orc vehicles when I was doing orcs for a bit. And, when you're an artist, you always kind of, like, second-guess yourself. You're like, oh, it looks alright. It's okay. It could be better. And then you've got people in your DMs like, dude, I need this right now. It's so fucking amazing. And you're like, really? So that was cool. A little bit of a ego boost, you know? Oh, your work is pretty damn good, dude. I want it. That's cool. Yeah, scratch building is fun, but it's not an easy task. Lewis, buddy. Yo, yo. Yeah. Warhammer scratch building is like amateurish. Scale modeling. Scale modeling is fucking impressive. All the tanks and everything. All the World War stuff. Yeah, take it easy, man. Peace, peace. Fucking sandpaper's all fucked. Ugh. It's all fucked. No, we're not doing Space Marine 2. A lot of people are doing it right now, man. There's so many, there's just a lot of people playing it. And I think I'm not as excited as most of them, to be honest, because, like, I'm a fantasy guy. I'm a Costco guy. Warhammer Fantasy. I mean, shit, they make a dwarf game? Good God. You'll never hear the end of it. You will never hear the end of it. Although they should have some sort of like survival dwarf sim that isn't Moria or like Dwarf Fortress. That'd be cool. Just a million ideas. Not enough money. That's why being a billionaire would be great. You could just do all these things. It's like, hey, I want to make a show. Even if it sucks and no one watches it, that's cool. I can make it. I got the money.
Shut up, you dickhead. Now fuck off.
Oh my god, Ivana resubbed. Wait, why are you subbed to this channel? Are you not subbed to the main channel? How are you subbed to this one? I need to subscribe to my own channel. I'm subbed to both. Why? Valheim? Nah. I know of it. Ivana's played it. Can you play a dwarf in Valheim? Is that real? For real? One is Prime, Valheim's Goat. Can you play dwarf in Valheim? You're a Viking. That's close enough. You just gotta be like 4 feet tall. It's basically a dwarf. There are dwarves in Valheim. I'd hope so. I mean, it's not like I gotta play a dwarf to enjoy the game. Like, come on, you know. I'd still probably play Valheim. It's just, tomorrow I gotta do Dead Space 2. So we gotta be up a little bit. I'm gonna go grocery shopping and then play Dead Space 2 all day. It's a one and done stream of Dead Space 2 tomorrow. Start to finish. What? What? I know. What? I can't hear anything. You have to type. I literally can't hear anything. What? Why? Hang on. All right, we'll go. Well, don't bring him in here. I'm working on stuff. It's bad. No, it's just bad. You can't. I can't even hold him. My hands are. Oh, hello, Mochi. Hello. Hello. What is this creature? Why is he laying down on my shoulder? Hi, Mochi. What's up, little buddy? Okay, get him out of here. This is no place for a dog. What a cute creature. Survival games are like designed to be grinded, right? Yeah, what if I just take my headset off because it's giving me AIDS? I don't want AIDS. Oh. Leave it there for now. Maybe I should try earbuds for this stream. I think that'd be comfy. Or something. Earbuds, buddy. Gaming with a headset? Perfect. Doing Warhammer? Fuck off. It doesn't feel good. Something lightweight would be nice. I gotta look into it. Maybe it'd be nice. Because on this setup, I want less because I'm doing so much more. So, like, everything out of my face is ideal. If possible. If possible. Thor Copper and Iron Age and Valheim is pure pain. I would imagine any sort of, like, grind in that game is pain. Because it is a grind game, right? You are stuck doing something. That'd be cool. I mean, there's no... I mean, I guess to be fair, when it comes to, like, fantasy races, dwarves are probably the most popular because they're the coolest. I don't think you want a single-player elf game where you go fondle trees like a fucking weirdo. Nobody wants to do that. 0 people want to play that game. We are blue. Dabba dee ba da die. That's like a fucking... That's like one of the most iconic 2000 songs now. Dabba dee ba da 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 dee da 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 dee da da da. I'm blue. I remember that being in one of the I don't even know what movie it was, but it was with some childhood actor who ended up being maybe a little bit of a crazy person. Little bit of a crazy person. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, Hollywood's probably not the best place for kids. It's full of sickos. Not a good place. How's the evening? Pretty good. We're chilling. We're not going to be here long. I think we only get on for like maybe an hour and a half, something like that usually. Just right now there's things going on, you know. We got other stuff to do in the meantime. But at least getting on and doing something is better than not doing anything and not getting on, you know? So it's good to be a little bit productive. Get on and clean some minis, glue some minis together, and call it a night. Better than having them sit in a organizer. How good is the Age of Sigmar lore books? I'm not really well versed in AOS lore outside of like Gotrek's side, but I wouldn't be able to tell you. I guess the dwarf stuff I'm semi-familiar with. I did read the Chronicles of the Wanderer, the White Dwarf Grombrindal like novel. That was cool. That was actually really fun. Outside of that, I have no clue, brother. Yeah, these are metal. Yeah, yeah, Hollywood's not... I mean, you get rich, but, like... Yeah. You sell your soul to the devil! The Illuminati is real! What the hell is going on in Hollywood? Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's it's a little bit of tedious work, but you know, you could never make. I don't think you could ever make metal minis perfect unless you seriously sat here for like a long time. And I'd even say priming these things just to see where all the errors are makes even more sense. Just a light dusting of like any color, maybe a gray, be able to see all the imperfections before you paint. But a lot of these classic minis were never made in plastic, so you kind of have to work with it, you know? Some stuff's good, some stuff's bad, but not everything's made in plastic, unfortunately. If this was made in plastic, that'd be cool. But, of course, metal is iconic in that a lot of the old stuff is heavy. Feels like there's a little bit more to it. Certainly has its charm. I'll say that much. Metal minis have their charm. They're certainly not good to clean up. I wouldn't say more detailed. I wouldn't say more detailed. Points-wise, I mean, I could be at any points cost, man. But I mean, I'm building a 2000 right now, so... Points-wise, we're at 2000. But it could be anything. I've got so many old minis from, like, the fantasy days that... Oh, could have a whole apocalypse dwarf army. I hoarded these things like a freak. I love them. My childhood. It's just right now I'm still trying to do my spearhead. I'm still trying to build my spearhead, and that is my #1 goal. It's just taking a very long time. Like, could be done probably in the next few months if I really stuck to it, but sometimes you get bored of a project and you just kind of have to go back to it, give it a bit of a breather, you know. Do something else in the meantime to kind of like reinvigorate yourself with that project. That's kind of where I'm at. So the spearhead was supposed to be the next big thing I finished after I'm done doing all these grombrindals, or in the middle of them maybe, because there's so many of them. Well, I mean, you can play games. They're collectibles. There's just whatever you want to do with them. You can paint them, put them in dioramas, play games. You could look at them. Just a bunch of different things, you know? Most of the time when people build minis, it's meant for the game. So, you know. If you really want to go play, build your army. Points are basically, well, I don't know if you meant that, but points-wise, every miniature kind of has a value, and that value determines how strong they are. So, like, 1-point models are going to be, not that there's any 1-point models, but those are garbage, right? Then you've got your 20-point models, might be a bit better, and then you got your 100-point models. You're like, okay, these guys are serious business. It's basically like a power level. Usually the more points, the stronger they are. You can kit them out with upgrades to make them even more expensive, like different rune weapons and talismans and armor and stuff like that. And they gain those stats. Like 1-point models don't exist, yeah. Better army men. I grew up with army men, yeah. That was a big part of my childhood. I've always thought about doing a guard army, just painting them solid green and making them like toy soldiers. People have done that before, and I think that's so sick, but like, I don't think I could ever stomach doing that army, finishing it. But it would be super fucking easy. That would be the easiest army in existence to make. Like a Toy Story, bucket of soldiers type of deal. Plastic green army men. Be cool, though. How easy would it be to actually do that? That's fucking crazy. Imagine, like, oh, I want to paint a Baneblade. Holy fuck, a Baneblade is just one solid green, but then you can shade it to make it look kind of like plastic or something. Like that type of plastic, the rubbery type. That would be cool. But in a perfect world where you have all that money and time, great, but no. No siree. Skaven? No, I don't mess with Skaven. They're not my thing. Me do not like the Skaven. Skaven, icky, gross. Disgusting, laddie. Disgusting Skaven. Well, I mean, orcs and goblins, Skaven, trolls, anything that fucks with dwarves and has fucked with them for centuries, yes, mortal enemies. Mostly Skaven and orcs and goblins. The Skaveen. Doing a guard army, but vehicles only. Yeah, a lot of people do that, the mechanized stuff. It's not my favorite, but I can understand from like a gameplay point of view, it makes sense. I assume you've just got like infantry squads that sit on objectives, like a couple or something. I like the infantry. I like the boots on the ground. I love just mass amounts of bodies. For me, that's cool. The more mechanized, the less appealing personally, but, you can have an infinite supply of guard. Wish they'd do more with the guard. I find them more interesting than Space Marines. Visually. It'd be cool to have more regiments represented, instead of just like, oh, here's the, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Catachan jungle fighters. Oh, there's Stallone. It's like, okay, that's cool. And then the Cadians. A Baneblade. I remember when I got my Baneblade. That was a cool day. It was Christmas. I built that thing so fast, but it was so fucking big. It's like, it's just chunky. It's super, super thick. Now it comes with every option. I think when I had bought it, it came with whatever variant you purchased it with. But now it's like, even with the Rust tanks, I'm sure, and all the other vehicles, it's you get every option with it, right? Makes more sense. Definitely does. Yeah, it's big. Same thing with the Stompa. All the Apocalypse vehicles were very fucking cool. But, yeah, very large. Surprised they even sell the Stompa. They sell the Stompa in like a generic box for the orcs now. Like, is the Stompa even playable in a game? It's like 700 points or something, so I guess it is, but like it's probably pure trash. Pure dog shit. I just don't want to play it. I've got other things to do. This weekend I've got Dead Space, and then I have A to Z, and then I want to climb in League, and I want to go for Challenger, and then I have this channel, and then I have my kitchen, and I have like a million other things to do. It's basically buying a game that just came out to play it when you've already got 90 other things to do and play. That's why. So it's not really... It's on the radar, but it's like backburnered, you know? There's more important things to take care of, basically. Things that got to be done first. No, it will. It looks good. I'm not going to say anything about it outside of just, yeah, it looks amazing. And it really boils down to, like, just, you got to give games a chance. These fucking game reviewers, they're like, oh, it's a 6 out of 10. It's a 5 out of 10. They played it for, like, only the campaign. They're like, okay, cool. A lot of older games sometimes, or just games in general that are gems, have just gotten shit on with reviews because the people reviewing them haven't done everything. It's a solid 6 out of 10. I don't know anything about Space Marines. Yo. PvE. Yeah, there's PvE, PvP, stuff like that. What unit do you think Warhammer 3 next DLC will get for a dwarf? I hope you just get Joseph Bugman. Realistically, Joseph Bugman, like, let's not cope. Literally right here, this guy, Joseph Bugman. Just put Bugman in the game. You've got his Rangers since, like, Total War 2. With no Bugman in sight, like, legendary hero, let's go, come on. Gives regeneration. Let's see it, he's pissed. He's got, like, turbo genocidal hatred for goblins. The Groby. Let's see it. Are you green? Are you small? And do you got a big nose? Well, your species is doomed. Genociding goblins. What a lovely pastime. I just bought a box of Ranger bits to adorn my greenskin banner. See, I like greenskins, so I can't say much. I grew up with both. Yeah, greenskins are cool. They're just absolutely worthless. They're just so... They're not as worthless as Skaven, but they're pretty petty. Well, I mean, they're cool. They're really cool. Greenskins are great. They have the most variety of any army in the game. They're very, very thematic. It's just a bunch of, like, disgusting creatures trying to kill you. And have fun while doing it. They probably have the most creative freedom of any army in Warhammer Fantasy in terms of, like, modeling. Or just, like, sheer number of minis in an army. Like, you got a lot to work with. It's great. Tons of cool things. I was almost coerced into getting greenskins again for the old world, but I gotta stick to my guns. I gotta stick to my Dowie. Bought the Arcane Journal for the Orcs and Goblins. I just, it's a good flip through. It's not much in the way of like, oh my god, that's so exciting, I want to play greenskins, but it's very, it's good to have stuff back. Good way to put it. More Warhammer Fantasy, the better. Yeah, I heard they were really, really good. I mean, like, dude, playing, do they still have, I haven't played Old World yet, but do they still have, the animosity table? Or was it rather reworked, so, like, half your army doesn't just sit there and fucking do nothing? Like, that was, it's gone? Okay, I was gonna say. I was so unlucky with animosity when I used to play. That was a long time ago. Like, yes, this unit took me 30 years to build and paint. I can't wait to see it do something. Fucking roll squabble. Just beat the shit out of each other. People die. They just sit there killing each other instead of moving. It's not called impetuous, and it's a universal rule. Hey, I gotta look into it. I need to play some Old World. It's been a while since it's been released. And I just don't have time or an army amassed yet. I'd love to play, but when you're a hobbyist, you want to convert everything, it's a little tough. You know, I always thought to myself, if I wasn't converting 99% of what I was doing, I would have so many armies complete because it's so easy to do. It is so easy just to build an army and paint an army and base an army with, like, basing goop. You could be so free. I wish. Maybe one day I'll do that. You have to charge a lethal target. It's no longer closest enemy unit, which is nice. You can choose between targets in range. If you fail, you just have to... Yeah. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. That's cool. I don't know if buying everyone's Arcane Journal to read through things like that... I know you said it's a universal rule now, but... to know your enemy. To know what's in the book of the enemy. I'm not sure if people study that stuff, but it would be cool. If you really wanted to min-max winning in Old World. Really wanted to min-max. I mean, metas, I'm sure... I haven't played in a while, but it's usually just like patch notes in League. champs get buffed, things get changed. I don't know exactly how long the balance slates take to come out, like what's the schedule of them, but who knows? I'm not really a competitive guy. I just want to play the game, throw dice, look at cool minis. It's cool to win, but, you know, if you ain't looking at something cool, what's winning? What is winning? Okay, this album's repeated 3 times. Can't even hear the music. Two FAQs for under a year. That's not bad. It's so weird to me that, like, you get the rules physically, and then the physical rules get fucking outdated. Isn't that so strange? You have to look up online for, like, all the changes, and then you put sticky notes in the book. It's like, this is no longer the rule. I guess that's how things are. The elves aren't out yet. You've got all the cooler factions first, and then you get the elves. You'll get your wretched Elgi. Elgi scum. Well, I mean, yeah, you'd have to make changes no matter what. It's, I mean, I'm sure people realize that, oh, this is broken, this is that, let's change this, whatever. Whenever it comes to changes in any game, I just don't feel like I don't care. Because, like, I don't play games to have, like, the best stuff. You know, I play things and do things because I just enjoy them. If the dwarves were, like, the worst pile of dandruff, just blowing in the wind every game and there was nothing you could do, I'd be like, hey, at least I got dwarves. So, balance changes, interesting, but they're not as exciting for me. I'm just not like a competitive player or someone who just needs to sit down and win. I just want to look at cool shit, roll some dice, you know, think a little bit. That's fun. Space Marine 2. Oh, God. If I had $1 for every Space Marine 2 comment, I'd be Kaisenet. Trust me. Yeah, right now, no Space Marine 2. Maybe later. Maybe when we get some other stuff done. When everything is simmered down and Space Marine 2 has been absolutely destroyed by everyone and analyzed and overplayed, then it's my time. Yeah, oh, there's a lot of, like, narrative stuff for sure. I mean, it depends. I'm more of like, yo, let's do a 2,000 point game, like standard, whatever, but narrative games can be cool. Or rather, you know, the amount of fucking rules you play with. Just janky things that shouldn't happen, but they do, and it's like, oh god. What happened? Why am I just dying? Yeah, Rumble's broken. He doesn't lose lane. Rumble is just Satan. Rumble is Satan. What can you do? He's disgusting. He's an awful being. I'm a Zoe main. God, that's even worse. Ew. Yeah, the old world is the exact same thing as Total War. It's just in a it's a couple hundred years prior to those events. Even though Total War is kind of like not really set anywhere, I suppose. It's just kind of like Warhammer Fantasy. Yes. Yes, we do. We've got the fantasy, trust me. Take a look. It's everywhere. Like, Total War is definitely the greatest Warhammer game. Warhammer Total War, rather. I don't think anything trumps it. I'm sorry. Even Dawn of War 1, the GOAT of 40k games, cannot beat Total War. It is true. Okay. We got 2 more pieces, and I'm okay to just glue this, and it gets the shelf. If they made Dawn of War 3 was so fucking terrible. The studio went under. They just didn't know what they were doing. Like, what if we made a MOBA? What if we made Dawn of War like fucking League of Legends? And we made it into an esport, and we made everything very streamlined, and we made it just like not what we wanted initially. Because we saw the money signs in the esport industry, and we're like, you know what? We want that to be an esport. And then they made the most disgusting fucking abomination of a game ever. Although it had a few cool things, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the abilities were fun. Gameplay was pretty smooth, but it was kind of ugly. The orcs look so strange. Shooter boys were like ogre orc things. Well, yeah, they know. They know exactly what... They knew what was selling, and they knew what was popular, and they're like, you know what? What if we try our hand at, like, 40k? A popular 40k MOBA. They actually did have a 40k MOBA at one point, but it was so terrible, I think it just got shut down before it went live. That, I know, is a thing. I think I'd seen a bit of it a few years ago on YouTube. I wish to blue. Holy shit. Gifted subs. Yo, Hugh Cone with 5 gifted. Thank you, bro. God bless you, brother. Thanks, man. 5 gifties. We don't get gifties around this part, even though it's, September. Thanks, buddy. More to the Dowie Fund, even though there's no Dowie Fund, because there's no more Dowie to buy. To the Bills Fund. We love bills. Don't we love paying rent? And the government? Ugh. The government. Thanks, man. I'm gonna go play some Space Marine 2. Hey, have fun, bro. I will eventually give it a try. Just right now, no sir. We are stuck in physical purgatory. I think I've seen a few spoilers for the game, but it's not like I was going to be at the edge of my seat anyways. Like, oh my god, it's Titus. Like, if Grombrindal showed up, if Gotrek ended up coming through, I'm like, damn, that's a cool spoiler. Wish I didn't see it. Maybe they're drinking Bugman's. Bugman's buttered sausage. Hmm. I think this is good enough for the head. A little bit. Good enough for me. Final bit, and then I gotta go wash them, and then I'll come back, I'll glue them, and then call it a day. A little bit productive hour and a half, maybe. Just make them. Better to have things made than sit in fucking carrying cases. Jesus, the lines. Ay, ya mama, the lines. The mold lines. Vader, yo, buddy. We are getting out of here soon, unfortunately, but time is of the essence as of late. Many things to do, not much time. We gotta prepare for tomorrow morning. We gotta go grocery shopping, and we're playing Dead Space. Which should be fun. It's been a while since I played Dead Space 2. I remember getting the collector's edition when it first came out, and it was kind of just dog shit. Yeah. Really, really dog shit. Do you like an extremely underscaled pulse rifle? Or not pulse rifle. Plasma cutter? The miniature little dog shit flashlight, cheapo Chinese, like, knockoff, just garbage quality doo-doo plasma cutter. But that's typical for collector's editions, so. Most collector's editions suck. They are bad. The products you get, no good. But, you know, you're a super fan, so you still buy it. That's usually how they get you. It's always the super fans who buy them and they're like, oh, I love it no matter what. And it's just like a steaming pile of shit. This is the greatest thing I've ever had in my hands. $3 days till I can play Space Marine 2. Just gotta buy it early, dude. Spend the $30 more for the battle pass and never look back, right? That's what everyone did. If you're a big Space Marine fan, you probably did that. Which, hey, that's cool. I'd do the same thing for dwarves, man. I would be a dwarf shill. Games Workshop giving us some early access Dowie, and you get like one fucking beard strand different from like everyone else's, I'd be like, yes. We must do it. It's the only way to live life. AOS of 40k? Age of Sigmar is easier than 40k for sure. By a lot, not really, but Age of Sigmar is easier. Doesn't mean it's less fun. It's a little bit more friendlier. I think it's more of like, what universe do you like than what is hard and what isn't. Everything is learnable. Like, their most complex games, Horus Heresy and probably like Old World, still totally fine. No problems. It's not rocket science. It's not like you need to be Einstein, you know? So. I am completely fine with the quality of what this is right now. I want to go glue them. So, let us take everything to the kitchen to glue. And I will come back and we will continue. Just glue them all together and we'll be done. Degree in cool shit. Cool shit is cool. Good. These clippers are laced in like fucking metal flakes. Yikes. Okay. Time to go clean. Give me a few minutes. I'm just gonna throw... Is this all correct to throw away? Yep. Just gonna throw this away, and then I will wash these minis, and then I'll be back. Hear me. Okay. We are here. Best streams to have in the background. Why? Because it's Santiano. Okay. So, put the fucking headphones on now. Alrighty, let me glue something. It's time to glue. Let's do this. Well, the Aviator Grombrindal makes the most sense to clean first. Work. Bum, 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 bum. What a weird mini to have. Aviator Grombrindal. Rosa Pilot. Cool, though. How many Grombrindals? I got them all. All but, like, the old ones. I want to go hunt those down. Missing a few. The super old, like, talking 80s, maybe. 80s, 90s Grombrindals. I need the old ones. I need the ones that were store openings and all that crap. Did you really? Their table, if I was to go back to Montreal, that place is legit. I do like the Abyss. That's a good store. Staff are cool. The basement isn't always open, eh? That's where all that stuff is. It's in the basement. Yeah, it's a cool. I've also I recently bought something from a store. It's called Fenris Gaming or Fenris something, and really good service. They're in Quebec. Like, excellent service. Any Canadian stuff, lovely. Store is super. Fenris Workshop. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Their web store seems legit. Like, they have a lot of products that you typically wouldn't get in Canada, which is very appealing. Because I don't really buy minis, and if I do buy minis, they're more of like the rare, just old classical, you know, just GW history things. So right now I'm kind of on, I'm on a tool and material binge for like modeling. Not that I'm getting a lot of it, but like I'm in the process of still finishing these guys. My spearhead, and I've done a little bit of basing, but I want to try basing paste instead. At least the new stuff. I've used it before. It's just kind of hard. I was working on this guy. So, trying to figure out, you know, stuff like that. But yeah. The 94 Gaz. Yeah, that's cool. I had that mini at one point. He's a little tiny. He's a little bit small. What kind of weapon is this? It's not really. It's a like a, what would you call it? A rudder? Like a propeller? It's a propeller. Kind of looks like what do they use? A snowboard. Kind of looks like he's going snowboarding in a way. But no, that's just a commemorative mini. There you go. He's done for now. Good to go. Cool. I think yeah, old minis though, they're very appealing just to kind of like have on a shelf, you know. A little bit of a fun project to do. You gotta post it in the Discord, buddy. I would say my favorite version of Gazgul is the second one. That one is like what, 5th or 6th edition 40k, I think. That was good. I love that one. That's my favorite. Just because it's the one I grew up with. Yeah, 2000s, yeah. Well, I don't think that's it's one of the guys. I don't think it's Gaz. I don't think Gaz is in Space Marine 1, but it's someone who looks like him, right? Unless he actually was and I'm just not remembering it correctly. Grimskull, yeah. It was someone who looked like him, though. Most war bosses look the same. They're all like cyber... They're cyborgs. Where's the shield and where is Bugman? Pretty sure this is the exact same shield as, what's his name? The King of Karakern. On a blank. Pretty sure they use the exact same fucking shield. Wouldn't be surprised. Bum, 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 dun, 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 Alrighty. So this one goes like this. Holy gamoly, this is going to be miserable, actually. Putting metal minis together? Oof. Stroll down memory lane I don't want to visit often. Cool fucking minis, but like, good god. Sometimes not fun. Metal over Finecast, but plastic over metal? Yeah. See, the only reason Finecast sucks, I've got a bunch of Finecast here, is it's just missing too much. Like, the product was garbage, and, ew, there's like a fucking hair in this one. There was just, you almost had to, like, resculpt some of the stuff if you wanted it just perfect, you know? That was the biggest gripe. The bubbles, the incomplete minis. The big problem. I think if I glue this, gravity needs to win. So gravity, you better win. Gravity wins! Cool. I used to play WoW. That's basically it for MMOs. Yeah, you can get really good casts, or you can get absolute fucking abominable, terrible things that you have to, like, literally resculpt from the ground up. I don't think any of the ones I have here of the Grombrindals, because some of these were forcibly made in, you know, Finecast. I don't think these are Most of these are pretty okay. If you really wanted them perfect, you'd have to work at them, but, like, most are fine. Oh. There we go. I should have just used I should have used this activator. I ended up buying it like 2 weeks ago and I never did. I should use it. That'd be way better for this. Okay. Who's your favorite dwarf? I don't even know. I genuinely don't even know. I don't think I could ever put my finger on it. I don't know. That's an impossible question. I will say everyone's recent favorite because of Total War, if you haven't read about him in like the Gotrek and Felix stuff, is Malachi. Malachi's cool as fuck. If you like the engineering side of like dwarves, Malachi basically pushes it to its limits. Bro's out here making like airships with like, oh, they were always around, but you know, kind of adapting them and making them just quite impressive. Or red dot sight, like fucking dwarven sniper rifles and things like that. You know, big Gatling guns. Like, he's a very cool character. So I think as of right now, sure, Malachi, but like just all of them. Spindly bits that get the worst part. Yeah, exactly. The spindly little like dinky chains and things. It's bad. I don't want to cast my own minis. Nah, I don't want to make my own minis. I am very comfortable buying other miniatures and building them, but making my own, I just don't have time. It'd be cool too. Yeah, Malachi's really good. Unfortunately, he doesn't get a good send-off, as nobody does in the end times, but he's a character who kind of pushes tradition to, like, its limits, you know? He kind of defies the laws of dwarves and says, fuck you, I'm just gonna create stuff. And even though it will kill people, hey, we're gonna make things. Yeah, he's cool. Experiment? I mean, that would be fun. I've thought about maybe at one point making my own minis, like, you know, doing a conversion or just creating a dwarf of some kind, but it's been a while. And right now with, like, how things are going, nah, I got a couple of other things to do first. Blob. Twitch gave me 2 shaving products ads before joining in. It's a sign they don't love dwarves, dude. They're racist. Twitch is racist to dwarves. I think these are done. Well, until I paint them eventually, but I'm cool with it. Weird little Grombrindal minis. Elf characters? I mean, everyone says Tyrion's kind of like, you know, the Giga Chad guy. Wood Elves, I need to read more on them. Dark Elves, I just despise all of them, no matter what. High Elves, I mean, Teclis is there's a little bit about Teclis, or, you know, Tyrion, his brother. I'm not big on elf lore. I'd have to go back and read some of it, but just not out of the gate really appealing. Eltharion of Finnabar. Hey, man, people do like elves. I haven't read... The only bouts of elven things I've ever read came from Gotrek and Felix. Or, like, at one point, maybe the 7th edition book or some shit like that. Flipping through it in a store. Because, like, God forbid I want to go back and read a lot of that. They had some in the War of Vengeance. That was another one, actually, I got to revisit. But it's just not... Like, aesthetic alone, even though the lore could be good and things, you know, I could maybe get behind, it's just like... They're gross. They're just not my thing. Aesthetically, right out of the gate, elves are not for me. And that's kind of enough for me to, like, deter a lot of the reading and everything, unfortunately. Dark elves are just deplorable. They're just bad. Like, they're gross. But, I mean, you know. You've got a lot of weird shit in Warhammer. Lots of reading, lots of lore. But the good news about lore and catching up on everything is that they're not going anywhere. Warhammer Fantasy's done. So whatever lore you've got for elves or dwarves or anything, like, okay, maybe you'll get a little bit of like, oh, but this happened 300 years ago. Oh, it's the taking of Khazad Vosk or whatever the fuck they're doing in the journal for the dwarves. But it's very finite. You can go back and, like, read everything. And maybe I will one day. Maybe I'll go back and read, you know, all the elven books, because I know there's a bunch. But, like, I don't want to... I got to get through a few other ones first. Like, I just got the Ulrika series, and Ulrika kind of... Maybe not the most exciting character in Gotrek and Felix, but she kind of went out like a chump, so... No, there's a bunch of stuff, for sure. I mean, Black Library's been around forever. Warhammer Fantasy Battles has been around forever. Like, they've written so many things. I don't watch anime now. Slanesh Worshipper. I mean, basically, if you like fucking Dark Elves, yeah, basically. Reading is, I mean, for people who don't have time to read, you've got a lot of good options on Audible. Or even if you've read the books. Like, I've read Gotrek and Felix, and then I went back, like, when they first started doing the audiobooks, and I'm like, you know what? Let me give it a chance, just to see what it sounds like, right? And it kind of got me, like, re-hyped about the series. Like, it just brought it back. Being voice acted very well, and, you know, it was just fresh. It's like, Total War giving kind of like the world of Warhammer Fantasy a life, like a heart, is cool. And then that's kind of what they did with Audible, where they voice acted all the books, and they made everything very lively, very like believable, very real. So Jonathan Keeble, hey, the GOAT. So that was pretty fun. Response. I like the Green Knight's cool. The Green Knight was always cool. Again, Bretonia, not really, like, I'd have to go back and read it. Like, most of what I grew up on was Orcs and Goblins, Dwarves, Empire. Like, I'm not a big elf guy. I'm not a big Bretonian guy. Haven't read the books. Again, if anything, I've read on the wiki a little bit, or, like, through army books. But the Green Knight was cool being, like, the, what is he, the initial king of, like, Bretonia or something, just brought back for, to protect his realm or some shit like that, right? Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Lewin Gilles, however you pronounce that. Yeah. So, just vague things that I know from Bretonia. It's not really a faction I care for. I like the heraldry aspect, you know, where everyone's kind of like an individual and they go off on their own little quests and whatnot to kind of prove themselves. Like, that's cool. But, yeah, I prefer the Empire. The Empire's dope. Compared to Bretonia, like, the Empire's got it, bro. I know some people love, when I was younger, I'd go to Medieval Times. Medieval Times being this, like, dinner service thing where they've got jousting and whatnot. And they would put you in different corners. And every corner you were in, you got a different knight. So, like, you get the Black Knight, the Green Knight, and you'd be rooting for them throughout the game. And it was just, like, Bretonian Simulator, right? Like, very, it's just that, you know? But either way, many books, many things to read. Thank God the wiki's there, because Jesus Christ, I would not go buy a Bretonian book and read it. I just would not. But the wiki's good. Or, the Book of Choyer is a good one. I don't know if they do Bretonian videos, but they're pretty all right. Yeah, that's cool. I used to, hey, I got magnets from when I was a kid going to Medieval Times. That was fun. My knight always sucked ass. Like, he just lost every time. And maybe we didn't root him for him enough or whatever, but I don't know. It's a fun gimmick, you know. I'm surprised they're still around. I don't think they'd make you eat with your hands, and if you do, they give you gloves, probably. Yeah, cavalry's cool, though. Actually, I don't like it, but it's cool. I mean, I'm used to dwarves, man. Like, you know, my cavalry growing up was like boar boys, or like Bretonian, or not Bretonian, Empire Knights. So I'm not really used to it, but it's all cool. Are you gonna play Warhammer or Space Marine 2? No, not anytime soon. 40k Night Worlds are kind of weird too. I did read, I know a little bit of them where, like, the worlds they're from, there's like, you know, they've gone on their quests and whatnot, and they adorn their fucking armor with, like, the story of them and all that crap. They come from just a bunch of bizarre worlds. Yeah, I read a bit of it, but again, it's kind of hard to, like, it's hard to sit down and want to know more about something that you don't care about. And you could say, oh, that's ignorant. And yeah, it's a little ignorant, but, like, I just don't really have the appeal for Bretonia or the 40k Knights, Space Marines like I used to as a kid. You know, it's good to know the gist of things, but I'd say, like, time-wise, I still have more to read with, like, what I've got on my shelf, and better to get that done first, I do think. Is this glued? Holy shit, it's glued. There you go. The 30th anniversary. White Dwarf. Why was he glued? I wonder how he's supposed to be glued initially. I think you're supposed to, like, pedal him back a little bit. No, that's exactly how he was made. Never mind. Mine is still new in the box. I just figured I'd fucking make it, man. Like, it's better to have it made and sit on a shelf than just be unmade and looking like this for 10 years. Assassinorum Kingmaker is a book about assassins going on a night world. That's cool. I really should kind of look into more of, like, again, I'd love to, like, finish reading what I've got and maybe look into other stuff, but Warhammer's kind of a lengthy hobby. The books are not short, and on top of the books, you've got a shit ton of them, and then you've got the hobby. You just have so many things, right? Like, Warhammer's not, it's not a one note, like, oh, let me just sit down and do Warhammer. One-off books are good. There's no baggage. Yeah, that's nice. A one and done is great, but sometimes, you know, you like the series and it's like, it's good to keep up with characters. But yes, I'm done here, folks. That's going to be it for me. I'm going to go. It's, midnight. It just turned 12, so that's enough for me. There's so many books, it's overwhelming. Well, that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, you can kind of get a gist of everything, but delving into an army isn't an easy feat. Like, if you want to know Dwarven stuff, there's like... There's probably over 20 novels. I'm going to say there's like 20 to 30 novels straight up with like Gotrek, dwarves, dwarf-related things, like centered things. Like, who the fuck has time to read that if you're just kind of getting into it now? You know what I mean? So, like, it's a bit of a slog for sure, and that's only the dwarves. If you love dwarf stuff, there's 20 to 30. If you like elves, probably similar. You know, Empire, maybe the same. I don't know. I mean, dwarves are kind of a favorite. They've been written in for a while now. So, yeah. A long, lengthy process. But yes, I gotta go, folks. Be well, take care of yourselves, and, yeah, the new book just came out with the Votan. I will be reading it because I want to care, but it's very hard to care. They just don't... They're just very 40k, and I'm not really into 40k. I'd still prefer a bit of, like, the classic Dwarven, you know, heart behind their army, but it doesn't make sense to give them that. They're just an ever-turning, like, cog. You know, just a bunch of them in a machine, like, oh, work, work. Me get born in test tube. You know, oh, I love my ancestors because I was born in the same test tube as them, and we're just going to go mine for the rest of our lives and go break open planets. It's literally rock and stone. That's the lore. Like, actually, outside of, like, the whole cloning thing, I'm not sure if they're clones in that universe, but yeah, they're perpetually working, as dwarves do, but at a galactic scale. Very dwarvish, but very, very 40k. I don't think they missed the mark in terms of, like, the feel of a 40k army. It's just, I want more dwarven things, like dwarven heart behind Votan, and they just don't have that. So, it's a bit of a pass for me, but maybe the book will do well. The special edition of it looks fucking awful. It's, like, super colorful and just very bizarre looking. But maybe I'll pick it up. We'll see. But yes, I'm out of here, folks. Be well. Peace, peace. Space Marine, but it's dwarves. I wish.